Listen up, this might sting a little, but it's time for some tough love about sardines. You might think you know how to eat sardines. Maybe you've been popping open tins since you were a kid, or you've seen someone do it on a camping trip and figured, how hard can it be? But let's be real. Just cracking open a tin doesn't make you a culinary genius. In fact, most people are making at least one of the classic sardine mistakes, sometimes before they even get the can open. Ever ended up with sardine oil all over your hands, your table, or worse, your clothes? That's mistake number one. Not respecting the oil. Sardine oil is liquid gold, packed with flavor and nutrients. Don't just toss it. Use it in salad dressings, drizzle it over toast, or mix it into pasta. And let's talk about variety. Sardines come in dozens of styles, packed in olive oil, tomato sauce, mustard, even hot peppers. If you're always grabbing the same can, you're missing out on a world of flavors. Try different brands, different sauces, and see what you've been missing. Maybe you've tried sardines once, hated the texture, and never looked back. That's mistake number two, not preparing them properly. Sardines, straight from the can, can be delicious, but a little effort goes a long way. Try rinsing them gently to mellow out the flavor, or patting them dry before adding to a dish. Sardines aren't just a cheap snack, they're a nutritional powerhouse, loaded with omega-3s, calcium, and protein. But if you're just eating them plain, you're missing their full potential. Try them on toast with a squeeze of lemon, or flaked into a fresh salad. Don't just dump them out and call it a meal. That's mistake number three, treating sardines like instant noodles. Take a minute to plate them nicely, add some herbs, or pair them with fresh veggies. Presentation matters, even for sardines. I'll walk you through the mistakes that turn a delicacy into a disaster. From ignoring the bones, yes, you can eat them, to skipping the step of checking for scales. There's a lot more to sardines than meets the eye. Pay attention, take notes, and stop embarrassing yourself at the dinner table. Impress your friends, your family, or just yourself with your new sardine skills. Some of these mistakes are bad, but number 9, that's a culinary crime. If you're guilty of it, you might want to rethink your life choices. Maybe you're eating them straight from the can with a plastic fork, or worse, microwaving them. We'll get to all of that, and more. So grab a notepad, jot down these tips, and let's make sure you never make these sardine slip-ups again. Don't be a donkey, let's get started. Your sardine game is about to level up. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked steps in sardine enjoyment, proper storage. You wouldn't toss your favorite sweater in a damp corner, so why treat your sardines like old socks? First things first, location matters. Are your sardines sitting in a hot cupboard by the boiler, or basking in sunlight on a windowsill? That's a fast track to disappointment. Heat and light are the enemies of good sardines. The delicate oils inside those tins can turn rancid, and the flavor you were looking forward to? Gone. The best place for your tinned sardines is a cool, dark spot. Think pantry, cellar, or the bottom shelf of your kitchen cabinet. If you have a wine fridge, that's even better. Avoid places with fluctuating temperatures. Storing sardines near the stove or a heating vent can destroy their texture, making the fish mushy and unappetizing. Here's a common mistake: leaving open sardines in the can in the fridge. The metal reacts with air and moisture, leading to off flavors and even rust. Not what you want on your toast. Always transfer leftover sardines to a glass or ceramic container. Cover them with oil to keep them moist and seal tightly. This keeps the flavor fresh and the texture just right. Now, if you're lucky enough to have fresh sardines, treat them like the treasure they are. Get them on ice in the fridge as soon as you get home. If you're transporting them, use an insulated bag with ice packs. Don't just toss fresh sardines on a plate and hope for the best. Keep them cold, but never frozen. If you need to store them for a few hours, place them on a plate over ice and cover with plastic wrap. Here's a quick recap. Tinned sardines go in a cool, dark place. Once opened, move them to an airtight, non-metal container and cover with oil. Fresh sardines, on ice, and eat them within a day or two for the best flavor. And don't forget, basic food hygiene. Always wash your hands before and after handling sardines, and keep your prep area clean. It's about respect, for the ingredient, and for yourself. If you can't be bothered to store your sardines properly, maybe it's time to step out of the kitchen. Good food deserves good care. It's simple, Organize your pantry, label your tins, and rotate your stock so you use the oldest first. Take these extra steps, and you'll always have delicious sardines ready for a quick snack or a gourmet meal. Don't overthink it. Just respect the fish, and it'll reward you every time. So, you've just cracked open a can of sardines. Maybe you're hungry, maybe you're in a rush, but before you even think about eating them straight from the can, stop. There's a crucial step most people skip, and it makes all the difference. Don't just slap those sardines on a cracker or bread and call it a day. That's a rookie move. The liquid in the can, whether it's brine, oil, or even tomato sauce, has been sitting with the fish for months, sometimes years. It's often overly salty, metallic, and can mask the delicate flavor of the sardines themselves. Here's why rinsing matters. First, it washes away excess salt, which is especially important if you're watching your sodium intake for health reasons. Second, it removes any metallic or fishy flavors that build up in the can, letting the true clean taste of the sardines shine through. Think of yourself as the chef. You want to control the salt and seasoning, not let the factory decide for you. Rinsing gives you a blank canvas to build flavors the way you want. How do you do it? It's simple. Gently transfer the sardines from the can into a colander or fine mesh strainer. Use cold water, never hot, which can cook or break them apart. Let the water run over them for a few seconds, turning them gently with your fingers or a spoon. Treat them like you would delicate berries or herbs. Don't blast them with water or they'll fall apart. After rinsing, pat the sardines dry with a paper towel. This step is key. Wet fish won't brown or crisp up if you're cooking them, and excess moisture can dilute flavors in salads or on toast. Dry sardines brown better, absorb marinades and dressings more evenly, and have a firmer, more appealing texture. You'll notice the difference in every bite. Now, if you've splurged on high-quality sardines packed in extra virgin olive oil, you might want to skip the rinse. That oil is part of the experience, rich, flavorful, and meant to be enjoyed. But for most supermarket sardines packed in brine or cheap oil, always rinse. You'll get rid of that harsh, tinny taste and excess sodium. This extra 30 seconds transforms your sardines from just okay to restaurant-worthy. It's about respecting the ingredient, your health, and your taste buds. Don't be lazy. Taste, think, act, rinse, dry, and make every bite count. Let's talk about one of the biggest mental blocks people have with sardines, the bones. So many people see those tiny bones and immediately panic, but honestly, there's no need to be afraid. Sardine bones, especially in canned varieties, are incredibly soft. The canning process actually cooks them until they're tender and easily chewable. You can literally squish them between your fingers. Picking them out is not only unnecessary, it's a huge waste. Imagine buying a car and throwing away the engine, because that's what you're doing when you toss out sardine bones. Here's the truth. Sardine bones are a nutritional powerhouse. They're loaded with calcium, often more per serving than a glass of milk. That means stronger bones, healthier teeth, and better muscle function, all from a tiny fish. The texture, it's not scary. It's actually a bonus. The bones add a gentle crunch and a bit of character to every bite. They blend right in with the fish, and most people barely notice them after the first try. If you're still squeamish about a little texture, maybe sardines aren't for you, maybe stick to baby food. But if you want real nutrition, it's time to get over the fear. The bones are part of the authentic sardine experience. Cultures around the world eat them whole, and for good reason. They know the value of not wasting a single bite. Thanks to the canning process, sardine bones are not just safe, they're actually healthier. The heat breaks down the bones, making the minerals more bioavailable so your body absorbs them better. Still nervous? Try mashing the sardines with a fork or mixing them into a spread. The bones will disappear into the texture and you'll get all the benefits without even noticing. Don't waste nutrition and flavor. Embrace the bones. They're what makes sardines so special. You're not just eating a fish, you're eating a superfood. Throwing out the bones is wasteful and frankly, foolish. Sardine bones are packed with calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D, and magnesium, nutrients your body craves. So next time you open a can, don't hesitate. Eat the whole fish, bones included, and give your body the nutrition it deserves. Sardines in a tin are already cooked. That means you don't need to cook them again, just warm them up if you want. But so many people make the mistake of treating sardines like raw fish, blasting them with high heat and thinking they need to be cooked through. Stop blasting them on high heat. You're not cooking, you're cremating. When you overcook sardines, you're not just drying them out, you're destroying their delicate oils, which are the source of their rich flavor and health benefits. Overcooked sardines become tough, chalky, and unpleasant. The flesh shrivels, the skin cracks, and all that beautiful briny flavor is lost. The texture turns from tender and flaky to dry and rubbery. The goal is to warm, not cook again. Think of sardines like a fine cheese or a perfectly cooked steak. Gentle heat is your friend. If you want to add sardines to a hot dish, do it at the very end. A quick flash in a hot pan, a few seconds under the broiler, or tossed into hot pasta. Seconds, not minutes. That's all it takes to bring out their best. Overcooking destroys the natural oils that make sardines so nutritious and flavorful. These oils are packed with omega-3s, which are sensitive to heat. When you overdo it, you lose both taste and nutrition. Treat them like prime rib. Gentle heat preserves tenderness. Use low to medium heat, and always keep an eye on them. If you're reheating, do it slowly and carefully. Making pizza. Don't bake the sardines with the pizza. Add them at the end, right before serving. The residual heat is enough to warm them without ruining their texture. Pan-frying canned sardines. 30 seconds per side is plenty. Any longer, and you risk turning them into fish jerky. If you're lucky enough to have fresh sardines, grill or pan-fry them for just 2 minutes per side, tops. You want a golden crust, not a dried-out husk. The moment the flesh flakes easily with a fork, they're done. Don't wait for them to fall apart. By then, it's too late. Overcooked sardines are your fault, not the fish's. Be quick, be gentle, and respect the ingredient. Preserve their oils, their flavor, and their tenderness. Don't murder your sardines, let them shine. Sardines are naturally bold and briny with a flavor that stands out on its own. But here's the thing, seasoning them is an art, not a free-for-all. Too many people either smother sardines in a jumble of random spices, or worse, serve them up completely bland. Both are big mistakes. The best seasonings for sardines are those that bring out their natural flavors, not cover them up. Think bright, acidic, and fresh. Olive oil, lemon, and a sprinkle of sea salt are classic for a reason. They let the fish shine. Lemon juice is essential. It cuts through the richness and adds a burst of brightness. Don't forget the zest. Lemon zest gives a fragrant, citrusy lift that's unbeatable. Fresh herbs are your best friends. Parsley, dill, chives, basil, or even a little mint can add layers of freshness and complexity. Chop them finely and sprinkle generously. Want some heat? Go for red pepper flakes, a dash of hot sauce, or thinly sliced fresh chili. Just a touch wakes up the palate without overpowering the fish. Garlic is fantastic, but be careful. Raw garlic can be harsh and overpowering. Instead, roast it, toast it, or make a garlic confit for a mellow, sweet flavor that complements sardines beautifully. Thinly sliced red onions add crunch and sharpness. For extra zing, try quick pickling them in vinegar for a few minutes before topping your sardines. Capers bring a salty pop that pairs perfectly with sardines. Green olives or even a few anchovy fillets can add a briny depth, but use them sparingly. Here's what to avoid. Heavy, earthy spices like cumin, turmeric, or garam masala. These flavors clash with the delicate oceanic taste of sardines and can make the dish muddy and confusing. Sardines are already salty, especially if canned. Always taste before adding more salt. Oversalting is a common mistake that ruins the balance. Balance is everything. Rich fish needs acid and freshness to feel light and delicious. A drizzle of good olive oil, a squeeze of lemon, and a handful of herbs can transform sardines from heavy to heavenly. Don't just throw random powders on your sardines and hope for the best. Think like a chef. Taste, adjust, and season with intention. Every ingredient should have a purpose. Taste, adjust, and season with purpose. Make every bite count. Elevate your sardines. Don't bury them. When you get the seasoning right, sardines become a canvas for vibrant, unforgettable flavors. Tried one sardine as a kid and wrote them all off? Ridiculous. The sardine world is vast. Different oils, sauces, and even species. Olive oil, sunflower oil, brine, tomato sauce, mustard, each brings something unique. Sardines aren't just one fish. Pilchards, brizzling, sprats. All have different flavors and textures. Explore brands and countries. Spanish, Portuguese, French, Moroccan sardines are all different. Try fresh sardines grilled with sea salt and lemon. life-changing. Smoked sardines on rye bread, incredible. Don't be a culinary coward. Be curious. Next time, buy a few types and have a tasting. You'll be stunned by the variety. Don't live in a black and white world. Explore. Expand your palate. Wake up and taste. Each brand has its own unique touch. Some might be richer, others more delicate. Gourmet chefs around the world use sardines in innovative ways. Don't miss out. Packaging can also tell you a lot. Look for details about the origin and preparation. Check the nutritional information. Sardines are packed with omega-3s, protein, and vitamins. Stock up your pantry with a variety of sardines. You'll always have a quick, nutritious meal on hand. Sardines are versatile. Add them to salads, pastas, or eat them straight from the can. Once you start exploring, you'll find a new appreciation for these little fish. So, next time you're at the store, don't just grab the same old can. Venture out and try something new. You might just discover your new favorite food. Pouring sardine oil down the drain. That's not just a waste, it's a tragedy for your taste buds and your wallet. Sardine oil is packed with flavor, healthy fats, and nutrients. It's not just a byproduct, it's a culinary treasure. This oil absorbs the essence of the fish, along with any herbs, spices, or aromatics in the can, making it a concentrated burst of umami and richness. Instead of tossing it, think of all the ways you can use it. Whisk it with lemon juice and mustard for a punchy vinaigrette that's perfect on salads or grilled vegetables. Toss hot pasta in it for an instant. Deeply savory sauce. Drizzle it over roasted potatoes, carrots, or even grilled corn for a boost of flavor. Try sautéing garlic and chili in sardine oil to start a pasta sauce, or use it to fry an egg. Your breakfast will never be the same. The oil infuses whatever you cook with a subtle, savory depth that's hard to replicate with plain olive oil. Dip crusty bread straight into the oil for a quick snack, or use it as a base for bruschetta. It's both a condiment and a cooking fat, adding complexity to every bite. This advice is especially true if your sardines are packed in high-quality olive oil. That oil is often as good as what you'd buy in a bottle, sometimes even better, thanks to the infusion of fish and seasonings. If your can says extra virgin olive oil, you're holding something special. Even if your sardines are packed in brine, don't rush to pour it out. The brine can add a salty, savory note to soups, stews, or sauces. Use it to season rice, grains, or even a Bloody Mary for a unique twist. If you've paid for quality, make sure you use every drop. That oil is part of what you're paying for, and it can elevate your cooking in ways you might not expect. Respect the can, respect the oil. Don't pour away flavor, nutrition, and value. Every drop is a chance to make your food more delicious. Think of sardine oil as an ingredient in its own right. Use it creatively. Add it to dips, marinades, or even pizza dough for a subtle, savory kick. Don't waste liquid gold. Next time you open a can, remember, the oil is just as valuable as the fish inside. Only ever eaten sardines cold on a cracker? You're missing out. Sardines are fantastic hot. Heat unlocks new flavors and textures. When you warm sardines, you release their natural oils, enhancing their rich, savory taste. Try them on garlic rub toast, broiled until sizzling with lemon and pepper. The heat caramelizes the garlic and crisps the edges of the sardines, creating a delightful contrast in textures. In pasta, they melt into a rich, umami-packed sauce. Add garlic, chili, and parsley. The warmth helps the sardines blend seamlessly with the other ingredients, creating a cohesive and flavorful dish. Pan-fry them in seasoned flour for crispy, succulent bites. Serve with tomato salad or potatoes. The heat from frying gives the sardines a golden, crispy exterior while keeping the inside tender and juicy. They're great on pizza or in an omelet. The warmth from the oven or skillet melds the sardines with the cheese and other toppings, creating a harmonious blend of flavors. Stop thinking of them as just a cold snack. They're a real cooking ingredient. Incorporate them into your favorite recipes for a nutritious and flavorful boost. Heat deepens flavor and tenderizes texture. Warm sardines become more succulent and their flavors more pronounced. Don't just reach for crackers. Use the broiler, pan, or pasta pot. Get creative with heat. Experiment with different cooking methods to discover new ways to enjoy sardines. Discover what you've been missing. Wake up your sardines. Elevate your meals. Warm sardines can transform a simple dish into a gourmet experience. There's a stubborn myth out there that sardines are just poor people's food, but let's be honest, this stereotype couldn't be further from the truth. Dismissing sardines as low status or unworthy is not only unfair, it's a huge mistake that robs you of one of the world's most remarkable foods. Sardines are value food in the best sense, nutrient-dense, affordable, and incredibly versatile. They're packed with omega-3 fatty acids which support heart and brain health, and they're loaded with protein, vitamin D, and calcium, nutrients many people struggle to get enough of. In fact, sardines rival or even surpass more expensive fish like salmon and tuna when it comes to nutrition. They're a powerhouse in a tiny package. Around the world, sardines are celebrated as a delicacy. In Spain, Portugal, and France, gourmet sardine tins are prized by food lovers. Some even sell for €50 or more per can. These aren't just snacks. They're collector's items, gifts, and the centerpiece of elaborate meals. High-quality sardines are aged like fine wine, developing deeper flavors and richer textures over time. Connoisseurs seek out rare vintages, and tastings are held to compare the subtle differences between brands and years. In top restaurants, sardines are transformed into elegant appetizers and main courses. Chefs celebrate their bold flavor and versatility, pairing them with everything from citrus and herbs to caviar and truffles. Sardines are woven into the culinary traditions of countless cultures. From Mediterranean feasts to Japanese izakaya, they're a symbol of family, celebration, and heritage. Calling them survival food, or just for the poor, insults generations of cooks who have elevated sardines to an art form. Yes, sardines are affordable and practical, but that doesn't mean they're low quality. Like coffee or chocolate, there's a world of difference between the cheapest and the best. Premium sardines are hand-packed, often in olive oil or special sauces, and sourced from pristine waters. If you dismiss sardines because of old stereotypes, you're missing out on incredible flavor, nutrition, and culinary adventure. Don't let outdated ideas close you off from something truly special. Sardines are not only healthy and delicious, they're also one of the most sustainable seafood choices. Their populations are abundant, and responsible fishing methods help protect ocean ecosystems. Today, sardines are enjoyed by everyone, from students on a budget to gourmet chefs, from busy families to adventurous foodies. They bring people together across cultures and generations. So, drop the snobbery. Open your mind and your palate to the world of sardines. You might just discover your new favorite food. The skin, don't be squeamish. It's one of the best parts of the sardine, and yet so many people peel it off without a second thought. But here's the truth, you're missing out on a powerhouse of nutrition, flavor, and texture. Sardine skin is incredibly thin and delicate, almost melting in your mouth when cooked or eaten straight from the can. It's absolutely loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for heart and brain health. In fact, a significant portion of the healthy fats in sardines are found right in the skin. When you remove the skin, you're not just losing nutrition, you're stripping away a layer of flavor that makes sardines so unique. The skin acts as a natural barrier, keeping the fish moist and tender during cooking, and it helps the fillet hold together whether you're frying, grilling, or baking. If you love crispy textures, sardine skin is your friend. When pan-fried or broiled, it crisps up beautifully, adding a satisfying crunch and a burst of umami to every bite. It's a joy you shouldn't miss out on. Preparing sardines with the skin on is easy. If you're cooking fresh sardines, simply rinse them gently and pat them dry. The skin will crisp up in a hot pan with a little oil, or you can broil them for a few minutes until the skin bubbles and browns. For canned sardines, the skin is already cooked and ready to eat. No extra steps needed. There are only a few situations where you might want to remove the skin, like when making an ultra-smooth pâté or spread, where texture matters more than flavor. But for most recipes, toast, pasta, salads, or just eating them straight from the can, the skin adds so much more than it takes away. Peeling sardine skin is not only messy and time-consuming, but it's also unnecessary. You end up with torn pieces and lose the beautiful presentation of the fish. Plus, you're throwing away valuable nutrients. Embrace the skin for its flavor, nutrition, and the way it holds the fish together. It looks beautiful on the plate, especially when it crisps up to a golden brown, and it tastes fantastic. So next time you open a can, or prepare fresh sardines, resist the urge to peel off the skin. Stop being precious. Eat the whole package. Enjoy the full experience that sardines have to offer, skin and all. Serving sardines alone. Big mistake. Sardines are bold, they need balance. Pair with acid, freshness, and texture. Pickled veggies, sharp potato salad, or a crisp green salad cut through the richness. Use sturdy bread, sourdough, rye, or quality crackers to soak up oils. Pasta is a perfect stage for sardines. Add fresh, crunchy veggies, radish, cucumber, tomato, for contrast. Build a balanced plate sardines on grilled bread, parsley, lemon, pickled onions, and salad. Each component highlights the star. Don't serve sardines in isolation. Give them a supporting cast. Make every meal complete. Elevate the experience. Sauces can elevate sardines to new heights. Try aioli, mustard, or a dash of hot sauce. Roasted or grilled vegetables add a smoky depth that complements sardines beautifully. Creamy sides like polenta or mashed potatoes can balance the bold flavors of sardines. For a lighter option, pair sardines with a quinoa salad or couscous, mixed with fresh herbs. Even fruit can be a great companion. Citrus segments or a light fruit salad can add a refreshing twist. Beans and lentils provide a hearty, protein-packed side that pairs well with sardines. Don't forget, fermented foods like pickled beets or kimchi for an extra layer of flavor. Avocado slices or guacamole can add a creamy, rich contrast to sardines. Olives and capers bring a briny, salty element that enhances the taste of sardines. Roasted garlic or caramelized onions can add a sweet, savory depth to your sardine dish. Fresh herbs like dill, parsley, and chives can brighten up the flavors and add a touch of elegance. Nuts like almonds and walnuts can add a crunchy texture and a nutty flavor that pairs well with sardines. Cheese, especially feta or goat cheese, can add a creamy, tangy element that complements sardines perfectly. Whole grains, like farro and barley, provide a hearty, chewy texture that balances the richness of sardines. Pickled radishes or carrots can add a tangy crunch that cuts through the oiliness of sardines. Roasted potatoes or crispy potato wedges are a classic side that pairs wonderfully with sardines. Sautéed greens like spinach and kale add a nutritious, earthy element to your sardine dish. Roasted bell peppers or grilled eggplant can add a smoky, sweet flavor that complements sardines. Fresh salsa, whether tomato-based or with corn, can add a zesty, refreshing contrast to sardines. Hummus or tahini sauce can add a creamy, nutty flavor that pairs well with sardines. Roasted squash, especially butternut, with a hint of sage, can add a sweet, savory element to your sardine dish. Fresh berries like strawberries and blueberries can add a sweet, tart contrast to the rich flavors of sardines. Roasted nuts like pecans and hazelnuts can add a crunchy, nutty flavor that pairs well with sardines. Fresh figs or a fig and arugula salad can add a sweet, peppery contrast to sardines. Roasted beets or a beet and goat cheese salad can add a sweet, earthy flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like basil and mint can add a refreshing, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted or honey-glazed carrots can add a sweet, savory contrast to the bold flavors of sardines. Fresh citrus segments like orange and grapefruit can add a bright, tangy contrast to sardines. Roasted cauliflower with tahini can add a nutty, savory element to your sardine dish. Fresh pomegranate seeds or a pomegranate and mint salad can add a sweet, tart contrast to sardines. Roasted sweet potatoes or sweet potato wedges can add a sweet, savory contrast to the bold flavors of sardines. Fresh herbs like cilantro and a squeeze of lime can add a bright, zesty element to your sardine dish. Roasted Brussels sprouts or Brussels sprouts with bacon can add a smoky, savory flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like tarragon and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted fennel or a fennel and orange salad can add a sweet, aromatic contrast to sardines. Fresh herbs like rosemary and thyme can add a savory, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted mushrooms or mushrooms with garlic can add a savory, earthy flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like oregano and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted parsnips or parsnips with honey can add a sweet, savory contrast to the bold flavors of sardines. Fresh herbs like chervil and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted turnips or turnips with thyme can add a savory, earthy flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like marjoram and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted radishes or radishes with butter can add a savory, earthy flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like sage and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted leeks or leeks with thyme can add a savory, earthy flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like basil and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted garlic, or garlic with rosemary, can add a savory, aromatic flavor that complements sardines. Fresh herbs like dill and a squeeze of lemon can add a bright, aromatic element to your sardine dish. Roasted onions, or onions, with thyme, can add a savory, earthy flavor that complements sardines. 122. You've made it to the end. Congratulations! We've just uncovered the 11 most common mistakes that can ruin your sardine experience, and more importantly, how to fix them. From choosing the wrong can, to skipping the rinse to ignoring the oil, you now know exactly what to avoid and what to embrace. No more excuses. Armed with this knowledge, you can treat sardines with the respect they deserve. Start by picking a quality can. Look for wild-caught, sustainably sourced, and packed in olive oil for the best flavor and nutrition. Don't forget to rinse your sardines if they're packed in brine or sauce. This simple step can make a world of difference in taste and texture. And when it comes to serving, presentation matters. Plate them with care, and you'll elevate even the humblest can. Try serving your sardines hot on garlic toast with a squeeze of lemon, or toss them into a fresh salad for a protein-packed meal. The possibilities are endless. Don't be afraid to experiment with flavors and textures. And remember, don't waste that precious sardine oil. Use it to sauté vegetables as a base for pasta sauces, or even in a homemade salad dressing. It's packed with flavor and healthy fats. If you're new to sardines, push your comfort zone. Try them in different cuisines, Mediterranean, Asian, or even as a pizza topping. There's a world of sardine deliciousness out there waiting for you to discover. I want to hear from you. Share your sardine stories in the comments. What mistakes have you made and what tips do you swear by? Your experiences help others learn and grow. What's your favorite way to eat sardines? On toast, in pasta, straight from the can, or something totally unique? Let's inspire each other with new ideas. The best tips often come from home cooks like you. Don't be shy. Share your hacks, your favorite brands, and your go-to recipes. Together, we can make sardines a staple in every kitchen. For more no-nonsense advice, recipes, and kitchen wisdom, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a tip. Now it's your turn. Get in the kitchen, put these tips into action, and transform your sardine game. Remember, every meal is a chance to learn, improve, and enjoy. You've got this. Here's to delicious